We're here with Chris Hanmer, the chef and owner and all the titles of CH Patisserie.
Yeah, thanks. Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Thanks for being here. Yeah, you've been in downtown for quite a long time.
Yeah,
I think it was 2013.
Yeah, it'll be 14 years this May already. I can't believe time really flies. That's for sure.
More than a decade.
Yeah.
So for people listening and just tuning in, can you talk a little bit about what CH Patisserie is?
Yeah, so basically to kind of sum it up, we're a European-inspired patisserie. That's really what my background has been as a pastry chef since I was a late teenager. And so we really wanted to bring that type of food to Sioux Falls, over a decade ago. And we really felt, my wife Karen and I thought that downtown in particular, but Sioux Falls was ready for this type of experience. And here we are, over a decade later, and I'm looking out the window at some buildings that used to be empty warehouses, and now they're lofts and hotels. And so it's been a pretty fun ride, that's for sure.
Yeah, and you're very involved. I know you've had a lot of different board seats over the years, including with our organization. Yeah. You just kind of wrapped up I think it's a 6-year term on the parking advisory board. I mean, you are incredibly invested in downtown. If you're on the parking advisory board, you've got to be kind of invested. Yeah. Talk about some of that. Just why are you doing this?
Well, once that, I was thinking about it. Once the advisory board ended, I kind of thought this is the first time in, we've been here 13 years. It's the first time in over a decade I haven't been on some type of board, primarily representing downtown. And so when we moved here, I was trying to my wife Karen and I, who's also our CEO and owner, our kind of mantra is I'm in the kitchen, she does everything else in our business. So really the vision, the design, all that stuff is her. So we're really trying to sum up what our experience is all these years ago. And it's printed on every receipt still to this day, if people get receipts anymore. But our motto is, we're not here to change the food in Sioux Falls. We're here to change Sioux Falls through food. And that is really, it's on, if you get a receipt from us, it's on there still to this day, even though no one gets receipts anymore. But we were really trying to bring just a new experience to downtown. And it's a much different environment. When we first opened, the ads, the news coverage of us was, are there too many sweet shops downtown? That was really the coverage. It wasn't like, hey, this is coming. It's like every media outlet, because there was the Cookie Jar and there were a couple other places. They interviewed Greg, who's now a friend of mine, who was on the board together with him, and he's like, it's fine, but that was really the environment back then. That was the story. It wasn't like, hey, something new's coming. It was like, is there too much, And now again, we're looking across at corporate hotels and Hiltons and Marriott's coming downtown here a decade later. But you need people to continue to push and try and move the quality and the ball forward. And I think that's kind of what we always want to do, because it's just who we are as a couple, as a company, just continuing to love and educate our guests and just our environment.
Yeah. And your entire organization, your company, the way you approach it all, the environment is very specific. It's very intentional. I think that makes a lot of sense for, a French patisserie,
Sure.
Can you talk a little bit about just that impetus and, is it just that you're type A, or is it that you're just a business Mongol, you're a genius?
Exactly. We'll go with the second one, because that sounds way better. But it's interesting you say the word specific, because that's a word that I use a lot when we have new staff or our staff in general, our team, is that I'm at work, I'm a very specific person. And just doing this craft for so long, I started when I was 15, so I've been doing it almost 35 years, that's how long I've been doing this, so it really is, or 30 years, I can't remember. My brain's kind of goo because of Burger Battle right now, but it's been a long time. And so when you devote your life to something you love like this, it is very specific, especially if you want to be at a very high level. And that's just what I've always thrived in. I've always thrived in that very high level of environment, of kitchen, of team, of competition. It just really spoke to my personality in some way. And so when it came time for us to have our own company, we wanted to instill those values as well. And so, we have a set of core values that we go over in orientation that really enlighten our team to who you're joining and why you're joining them. And these core values steer everything from buying a piece of equipment to how we treat each other. And they're very simple. It's only 4 sets of values, but these values are how we really put our guest and our team first in that way, and why we're there, And I'll tell you them if you want to know.
What are the 4, please?
So our values, our opening statement is, I am CH Patisserie. I arrive with honesty and kindness. I work with desire and dedication. I act with integrity and trust, and I lead with excellence and humility. So those are our company core values, and those are non-negotiable. If you have those things, we can train you how to do anything else in our business. You can be a fantastic cook. You can be a wonderful barista. You can be all those things if you do that, right? You can be honest and not kind. Oh man, you look like trash today. Super honest, not very kind, right? And you can be kind and honest. Oh, it's okay. You don't need to wear shoes. Don't worry about it. Totally fine. And so those are the things that we really refine. And those things are really, you can't fake those for very long, right? You can't fake integrity and trust. You can't fake desire and dedication when you're in such an important handcraft, right? And when you're doing hundreds of transactions an hour, you can't fake it for very long, because if you're not honest and kind and your guests don't come first, then you're going to see it pretty quickly, right? So that's what's really important to us in those bringing those specific things to mind. And it's been a long road. When we opened, we had no money, like no money. We did it with an SBA loan, and we just went for it. It wasn't until we did our remodel in 2020 that the shop really kind of came into the vision that we initially had. But it took us, over 5 years to get there and reinvest.
Yeah. Well, so can you talk a little bit? We'll talk about Burger Battle in a second. That's actually why I invited you.
Yeah, no worries. Right on.
Can you talk a little bit about what Downtown looked like 13 years ago?
Yeah. So Downtown, so when we opened, there was actually Downtown Sioux Falls had partnered with the city to start an incubator program that, ironically enough, the thought process at the time was there's too many restaurants downtown. And so they wanted to foster more retail, which, okay, that's great. And that was as I started to become more involved, and I was on the board around then. I believe that I helped facilitate that and vote on it. I don't remember. But even though it didn't impact me, I just opened my business, and it was supplemented rent for like 18 months. It was a big help, because for people that know downtown Sioux Falls, on Phillips between like 12th and, the diner, I forget what street that is, there were probably 7 or 8 open spaces that could not be filled at that time. And it's unheard of right now, right? Unheard of. And so that was kind of what it looked like. The 8th and Railroad didn't exist. Jones Place didn't exist. The Arc of Dreams didn't exist. None of these things existed at that time. And so it was really a lot of dedicated people building on what had already been started. I'm not from Sioux Falls, but closing the loop was a big deal. Apparently, those people that are listening, what we're talking about, right? Getting the loop closed, people know what that means. And then Phillips to the Falls. So there's people like Jeff Dans and the Grant Howmans and so many other countless people that saw the vision of what downtown could be to get ready for Chris and Karen and our family and CH Patisserie and Downtown Sioux Falls and the Bread and Circus and the MB Haskets. We're all really close to each other as far as seeing the opportunity here. And for people to walk in downtown right now, it's, they go, oh, wow, this place is great. And there's like kind of looking around, checking it out. But man, it's been decades of work, 20 years before I even got here to get the loop closed, right? And do those things. So it's just been, looking back, it's kind of like kids. The days are long, but the years are short. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So long days, but now I blink and it's been decades, and here we are. And the new Marriott's going to be open in a year or two. Right. And I was like, holy smokes, I would have killed for that 10 years ago. You know what that would mean for us. And now here it is. It's finally here.
Yeah. That's beautiful. Okay. So Burger Battle.
Yeah.
First time ever participating.
First time.
I saw your name on the list, and I got immediately excited. I think it's such a unique entry. I knew people were going to latch on to that. I imagine that's been the case. I mean, I can see the metrics on the back end. Yeah. So I know it's the case.
Don't spoil it.
Yeah, no, I won't. I do get asked almost every day, like, how cool is it that CH Patisserie is participating?
Well, that's awesome.
What do you think about that? So why this year?
You know, we, again, going back to the roots of Downtown Sioux Falls, I think that there were so many great people on the board then and still on the board now that are, you know, to put it in a business and maybe a little bit selfless, that maybe this decision doesn't impact you, but at least you know that this impacts the downtown as a whole. And I think that's what's so great about the downtown and Downtown Sioux Falls is that there's people that are willing to say, you know what, this might not impact me right now, but I know overall it's really good for downtown. And so when Burger Battle started, I'm like, you know, sweet, we should absolutely do this. This is great. I don't do it, but let's let it roll. And so the really short story of it is like we participated, you know, as our girls got older, you know, they're 14 and 10 now. We've been going for years. And it just came to a point where we wanted to find a way to participate, to be honest. We wanted to be involved. I think that there's a lot of hype this year. There might be a lot of comments that I've kind of heard this year about what's going on, but what really is so special, and I want people to understand, I hope I can convey this, is that it is a way to help, and I'll use a strong word, save the restaurants and small businesses that you love downtown by giving them a January that sets them up for success. And that's the bottom line, guys. That's why it's here. Yes, it's fun. Yes, there's voting. Yes, you can get, you know, emotional about specific things, but the real heart of it is that, holy crap, we are helping so many businesses survive a month that is hard. And quite frankly, this December, again, was really hard. You know, I don't know a single business this December that was like, that was fantastic. We all took it in the shorts because every weekend it was snow emergency. You know, and when you're an outdoor space and it is, you know, 30 degrees below what it should be, that really impacts people and really impacts business. And then that impacts retail and that impacts, you know, I firmly believe that dining and retail go hand in hand. I firmly do. I was just listening to a book about Cesar Ritz, who started the Ritz-Carlton Hotel Company, and him and Escafé. So I was listening to their book, and even he was a hotelier in the late 1800s. And even then, in the 1800s, they were placing hotels and building stuff where people wanted to be, where the retail, you know, every luxury hotel that still exists. And they look to see what's in the community. They look to see what's around because they all support each other. The high-end restaurant or the burger place, they go where the concentration of people are. And that is retail and dining. And nightlife, right? It's a combination. So long-winded thing, but this is happening, you know, over 100 years ago. They're still looking at it. And so that's really the heart of this, is that, you know, we have a chance for people to get excited about dining, about trying new things, which might be outside your comfort zone. Cool, try it. It's a relatively low investment to try something outside your comfort zone, right? You're not dropping a tremendous amount of money to try a burger that maybe, you know what, maybe I don't like jalapenos, but they're going to put them on there because it's adding that flavor, you know, or maybe another flavor. I'm not sure, but I just want to say to caveat that is just thank you, you know, and that's why we're doing it. We are really doing it to try and catapult our January and our business in a way that we can participate and have fun. It just took me 10 years to figure out how to do it, to be honest. Like we wanted to, we thought about, should we do a macaron burger? Should we make it look like a brownie? Should we do, and I'm like, that's just not, well, we can't participate because we need meat. We would have to like supplement with somebody, right? And so we finally found a way to do it in a quality that I was happy with and Karen was happy with. She is the one in the business where I was just talking to another restaurateur the other day about like, I go to her and be like, is this good or is it just me? Right? Because I'll be creative, right? And I'll be like, hey, is this good, or have I told myself that this is good? And as a chef, that's really important to make sure you have an honest counterpart, whether it says, luckily it's my wife, which is awesome, but that person that will be honest will be like, this isn't it. Like, you might think that it's it, but it's not it. And you have to refine, right? And go back and go back and go back. And so we don't do anything at the shop that at least hasn't been refined, 3 to 10 times. It's just, it's not what we do. You said the word specific, and that is awesome. You said that word because that's true. That's just who we are as a company.
You can see it in the macarons. You can see it. I can't pronounce the rest of the words, but the chocolate dream thing you have, that will be what I request on my deathbed. They're just so flawless. They look exactly the same every day, every time. And that's why I use the word specific.
That kind of goes back to our honesty, and our core values is that you need to have integrity and trust. I had a young team member who is, not even 20 years old, pull one of those out and ask me, chef, is this okay to sell? Because I had a blemish. And I said, no, right in the trash. It's done. It's done. When we first opened, we had a very talented young lady work for us. And when we closed, we're trying to figure out numbers, and we call them PARs, like what's your PAR level, right? How many should we prepare? And, in our line of work in the pastry world, you want to kind of sell out, but you usually have some leftover. And so she asked me, well, chef, why don't we just sell them at their discount at the end of the day, or sell them tomorrow? And I'm like, because I can't risk my reputation on that. I can't risk someone having one that isn't at the quality level that we want for a lesser price. And so that's why we don't do that. We're specific about how long we ask you to enjoy things. It's like, we recommend today, but what you do from there, we don't stand behind the quality anymore. And a lot of people are they're good. And we have some people that come from Iowa and Nebraska, and they'll buy stuff. Yep, got the cooler, and they head back. Seriously, serious. Like, they really do. They come and they buy 3 or 4 chocolate dreams because they come up from, more rural Iowa to see some friends and do some appointments. And they get 3 or 4 chocolate dream. They get like 8 Queen of Mon, and they put them all in the cooler and they take them home. I'm like, you guys are awesome. Yeah. That's rad.
But I think that's exactly why you belong in downtown, because downtown is also specific and curated.
I agree.
And, it's, we don't compromise. We think about value, not price, in every sense of the way. Every business down here has to live on that experience kind of economy.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Okay. So back to your burger. American in Paris.
You off. I keep grabbing the wheel from the passenger seat, and pulling you off into the ditch, which I never understood until I moved here. Why? What's all these ditch rollovers? What is that?
South Dakota.
Yeah, I know, right? Love it.
But it's called the American in Paris street burger.
Street burger. Yeah.
It's in a croissant.
Yeah, man. Basically, yeah.
Yeah. And you've got this CHP sauce.
Duck fat.
Can you reveal what's in the CHP
that one's a
sauce?
secret. That one is our secret sauce, but it is, kind of going back to typically when I think that's something that's for me. Typically, I create emotionally based. That's when the creative process comes for me. I need the hook. I need something to be able to get that creativity to start coming out. And typically that's emotion for me, typically. What was that feeling? What do I want to convey? Where can I put myself? How can I put myself in that situation? And that's kind of where it came about. I was like, okay, I'm 100% American. I've never worked for an American pastry chef. I know what chicken McNuggets taste like. I've been to Paris. I've have all these things. Now, is this something you're going to get in France? Absolutely not. You're not. But is it a way that I wanted to convey a feeling to people of like, I'm there, we're going to put it, it's going to be, if in this magical world that Chris created, you could walk up to a street vendor and they would hand you this through the window of their cart or through their truck, or that's what it would be. So it would be intensely American, and yet still have this thing. If you were walking down the street in France, be like, okay, I get it. Yeah, they put a burger in a croissant. I understand that.
Yeah,
and still have those recognizable flavors and the recognizable cooking techniques, and still have that, because the intention, it is served in kind of it's like a crepe cone basically, And that was the vision. And so when I'm walking the restaurant and just thanking people, and when I see people, eating it out of the cone, I'm like, yes, thank you. You get it. Like you're eating it, and it's completely portable. Like you can walk around with it. It is extremely messy, and it's supposed to be. When you eat a quality croissant, it should explode. It should be all over the plate, all over your face, all over your clothes. So that's what happens when you eat like a quality croissant, is that, it explodes all over because there's hundreds and hundreds of little layers baked into beautiful butter. So that's what happens. And it's been crazy to see. It's been really, really fun to see.
That's cool. So you talked a lot about emotion as your inspiration. Can you describe what you hope people feel at their first bite of this burger or anything you sell?
That's a good question. I think that there's a moment when you try something and it's so crazy, but I've seen it on people's faces in my own life. But it's the ratatouille scene when your brain realizes that it's tried something it's never tried before, or tried something so good that it actually physically locks in a memory. And that's what's so amazing about food, is that some of my best memories are so locked into that visceral, emotional flavor component from when I was, working at my first Ritz-Carlton till my British boss, prodding me that I don't know how to use a fork and knife when I was 21 years old because we were eating out. And she's like, "What are you doing?" She's very proper British. "What are you doing? This is how you hold it." I'm like, "Oh my God, I'm eating with some of the best chefs in the country at a Michelin star restaurant. And I know how to hold my fork and knife." Right. And so there's so many things like that. So the thing that I would hope someone would feel when they eat anything at CH Patisserie, would a professional thought about this, someone put so much effort into something seemingly so small. And I don't know how to make that connection, but I've seen people eat things, and I've literally seen the eyebrows go up, and I've seen the flavor hit them in our business, and even with the burger right now. That's what I would hope, is that connection is made to be like, holy smokes, this took someone a lifetime to create, And I think that's what I hope, and I know it might be a stretch. Again, maybe it's a little whimsy, but that making that connection of like this literally took someone's lifetime to get to my mouth. You know what I mean? When you say it like that. But that's really, really the journey of all wonderful chefs. Again, like the top elite chefs, they're trying and they are pushing themselves for that experience that probably we all had at some point. Right? I walked into the Ritz-Carlton in Laguna Niguel the first time, and I couldn't believe how professional everyone is. I couldn't believe how we talked. I couldn't believe the level of perfection there. I was just hooked. I'm like, this is it. I'm done. This is how we always have. This is how it always has to be. Always has to be. So, it's kind of a long chefity way.
I love it.
But
I love it. You just threw a couple things in there, Ritz-Carlton and a few other things.
Sure.
For people who don't know you, you've got a pretty impressive background. Can we just brag on Chris for a little bit and maybe just share a little bit about your background? A couple of things that if you just Google Chris Hanmer, a couple of things that immediately pop up are globally recognized pastry maestro, which is such a cool title.
Who says that?
Youngest ever American chef for a World Pastry Team Championship, and named one of the top 10 pastry chefs in America. Mm-hmm. All right here in downtown Sioux Falls. I mean, it's just, what a gift to everybody. Honestly.
No, thank you. I again, it is a lifetime of effort, I guess, to do that. And it's just, even, we didn't expect to be, I had a number of burgers that that Karen and I kind of looked at to be like, you know what? I don't know how this is going to go, man. We're a pastry shop, right? We're a European inspired patisserie. So how's this going to go? So we had an amount, like if we hit this number, it's like, wow, this is going to be worth it. This is going to help our January. And right now we're exceeding that number by, 4 or 5 times every day. And it wasn't a small number. It was a pretty good number. So yeah, I just keep kind of lost my train on the question, but it's not intentional. You know what I mean? It's not like, hey, I want to be these things. It is, I'm going to put myself in a situation to succeed at these things. Right. Yeah. And try and do my best. And that is something that I've always cared about, is being able to do my best. And this world of instant gratification is such a tremendous world to be in. It really, really is. It's unlike anything else. There's no other craft or business in the world where a stranger comes in and says, you know what? You're not very good at your job. Like, what do you mean I'm not good at my job? Right? I've been doing it for 30 years. Or they come in and say, wow, you're amazing at your job. And the only difference is the perspective that those two people have, and maybe the culinary background that those two people have, right? So you don't walk into Home Depot and walk up to the cashier and be like, you're really bad at your job. Like, well, what are you talking about? All I'm doing is trying to provide the knowledge that I have, right? So that's an interesting thing about being a chef or in hospitality in general, is that you're doing that hundreds and hundreds of times a day, right? Mm-hmm. And of course, you want to do the best you can, and that's what we always strive for at CHP. But it takes a tremendous amount of effort to be able to do that.
So you were kind of going there already, but well, expectations versus reality. Mm-hmm. Joining the Burger Battle for the first time, what did you think was going to happen? How was it going to play out? Yeah. Versus, you kind of referenced sales a little bit, but what do you think?
So there's been, it's been, last year was, last year was, we had some big turnover in our kitchen staff. We had some long-term employees that were ready to move on. And that's the culinary world, right? So last year was a really rebuilding year. So to start this year off in a way, and it's something. Absolutely. I haven't experienced this as a chef, and I really, one of our core values again is excellence and humility. And, with all humility, on Saturday, we start serving burgers at 11, and people start coming in, 15, 20 minutes before pre-ordering burgers. And I'm like, okay, we gotta wait a little bit. Right. So before we even open, we have burger tickets just waiting. And so people on this last Saturday just kept coming in. And we probably had 50 or 60 people in line. And so we opened the burger sales, and I just came out, and I was just like out of the kitchen. I'm like, I thank you everybody so much. Like, I'm truly humbled that you would come here for this. And people started like clapping and cheering. And it was such a surreal experience. And I'm again, with humility, like I have had some accolades, and I've been on different stages where there've been applause for accomplishments, but like, I'm just a dude making a burger right now that I thought would be good. And it impacted people so much that they felt that they wanted to be part of that. And that was just, it was insane. It literally was a visceral, emotional feeling for me. And I to be like, why? In a way, like I'm amazed. I'm completely blown away. That people would have that. I would like everybody. So, I just made an announcement. I just want to let people know that, hey, we're coming. We're getting them out really fast. We're really fast at it. The line takes a while, but we get the burgers out about every 3 minutes. It's really, really fast. I want to let people know. And I wasn't expecting any type of anything. So that just like absolutely like shattered me a little bit, to be like, holy smokes, what, like, going back to that emotional part, then I selfishly create from my own emotion to hopefully share a story with someone else, right? Like we did a popular dessert a couple of years ago called the Getaway, and we did it in January, and it was like a tropical theme, kind of looked like a coconut drink. And people are asking for that years later. But again, I'm like, it's January, let's get away, let's pretend we're someplace else. And that gained in that popularity. And so it just having that connection where someone is willing to be excited for that is just like, I have a hard time expressing that, again, I've been in some, in my career, I've been in some pretty crazy situations of working with chefs and for chefs that have been up on stage and had hundreds and thousands of people, not hundreds of thousands, but hundreds and thousands. I haven't played the stadiums yet, but maybe someday I'll get there. And so that was just such a personal thing because we push so hard. And so to have our guests in our restaurant have that type of reaction to something that we want to create for them and hope people enjoy it, it was just like shattered. It was just done. I don't even have the words to express what it meant as I got to imagine if someone like has any other type of artistry or, sculpture or painting, if you were to present that and people would clap and applaud for that work, it is for me in general, it's such a personal thing. You can't do this to the level that we do it if you don't take it personally. You just can't. Otherwise, it's that visceral in so many ways. So
Right.
It's just, I was just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. Every day, Karen and I are just like, I don't believe it. We were just blown away. And every day we want to send, if we could send emails to every single person and thank them, we would, because we are just blown away how Sioux Falls, 13, I hope I'm saying it, 13 years, right? 13 to, okay, I want to say the wrong,
2013, 2026,
okay, I just want to make sure I'm not saying the wrong date, like how many years it's been. But all this time later, people are still appreciative of what we're trying to do. And everything we do in our business and our time given is to provide that for our guests. So it's kind of I'm all over the place on that, but that was something that I had no idea, man. I just wanted to do a fun burger, and that's, it's just crazy, to have that reaction.
Beautiful.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah. Okay, so just to go full circle and wrap it up a little bit, we look back 13 years, and where was Downtown when you started? That's actually the same year that Burger Battle started, by the way.
Oh, is it?
Which is interesting. But
you're welcome.
Right. Thanks, Chris.
For sure.
Where would you like to see Downtown in 13 years from now?
Hovering with spaceships and stuff like that.
Oh, cool.
When I first moved here and was still, kind of traveling, going to a little bit bigger cities, having people, if you're in like the LAs, New York, Chicago's, there are different parts of downtown, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that in this next phase of downtown, continuing to expand and have more districts, for lack of a better term, kind of come out. You go to New York, there's so many different districts. There's meatpacking and Soho and all these different places. And I think we're getting to a point where we're pretty close. We're getting pretty close to that a little bit. And it isn't, I don't look at that as a rivalry. I look at it as experiences, right? Like I can experience something at 8th and Railroad that I can't experience on Phillips. I can experience something in Jones or at the Levitt that I can't experience on 8th and Railroad. And so just like there are 50 establishments participating, that is something to be celebrated, in my opinion, because then you can pick your own experience and you can celebrate the 10, the 15, the 50. Because there's 50 doesn't mean you have to go to 50. I would really appreciate it. I'm sure everybody would. But when you have that variety, you can focus on the ones that you would like to and support your favorites. And I think that in this next decade, in this next 13 years, being able to continue to expand the downtown experience to having not every area has to look like Phillips for our businesses, right? Not every area has to be brand new development. Not every area has to be luxury condo. Not every area has to be this. It can be a real functioning downtown that is in that way. I think my only thing as a business owner, as a parent, a husband, as father, is continuing to make sure that downtown stays safe. That is my 100% goal, that none of this will matter if we can't continue, I feel, to make downtown accessible and have our guests feel safe at any hour of the day or night. That's the only way. And I think that we've done a tremendous job of that, just from our own tight-knit community of people that care quite frequently. Like, you don't need to get involved if everybody cares. You really don't. You really don't. And so I think that would be those two things kind of coupling together, is really making sure people are investing in the cleanliness and safety of and what that means to you, I'll let that be interpretation. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean that we need to put barbed wire up all over the place, but it just means that is something that is so, if you travel at all, is something that is so unique to downtown Sioux Falls. How walkable it is, how safe it feels, how wonderful the people are, how light the traffic is in comparison. You know what I mean? How easy it is to park in comparison. There's so many wonderful things that I hope this trajectory kind of just continues in that direction, which will bring more residents, which brings more entrepreneurs, which brings more residents, which brings more. It's this awesome cycle that we need to continue in this direction where, we can keep moving in this area. That's really what I hope for. I think that, some type of, I don't know if sports team down here is going to happen or not, but cool, whatever. Like, let's just keep going in this direction and let the public kind of sort out what they prefer.
Beautiful. That's great. Thank you so much for joining me on Hello Downtown. I know CH Patisserie is now back to 7 days a week.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I know Valentine's Day is a big day for you guys too.
Huge, yeah. Valentine's Day kind of kicks off our season, and we are super pumped to be open Mondays again. We it was a difficult decision to have to do that. It was something that we looked at very difficult, and as soon as we were able to, we always wanted to go back to it, and so now's the perfect time. And to every guest that's come in to CHP, we truly thank you. We couldn't be here. We wouldn't be here without you. It is the reason, and you are the reason why we're here and why we work so hard and why we're so diligent, is to be able to provide for you. It's the only way you can do this life. It truly is. It truly is. The only way you can do this life is that if you genuinely care for the people that are coming in, and you genuinely care for the team that does it with you. And so from the bottom of our hearts, I'll kind of end with this, even though we already ended. This is awesome. I can do whatever I want. Total power in the microphone. Is that CH Patisserie is again, it's, you said it at the beginning of the podcast, which is so awesome. It's a very specific. So CH stands for all of our initials. So it's Karen, Chris, Karis, and Chloe. So it is the four of us. Those were all intentional names. CH Patisserie is the four of us. And if you came to the farmer's market last season, you would see our two daughters working right along with us. Chloe, busting out drinks and restocking and doing change, and Karis, working with guests and being able to do that. So yesterday we were crazy busy, and my youngest, Chloe, 10, was working expo with me, sending out burgers, and she loved it. She's like, "Dad, I'm ready to go. I want to go this weekend." And so that really is a family affair. And so from the bottom of all of our hearts at CH Patisserie, we're just so thankful for you, that you bring us into your home and you spend just your hard-earned money on something that you enjoy. And I hope we are that escape for you, and that just a place where you can come and enjoy. We really thank you for that.
Beautiful.
Right on.
That's a wrap.
All right. Thanks so much.